So, shall we begin? The preliminary investigation, you are actually, can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, preliminary screening, we are actually taking into consideration factors like uh, any external factors, or let's say generally what are the market conditions, how much is the competitive pressure. Then we are scanning the environment roughly. We have a separate step to follow, that is studying the environment, external environment or environmental scanning. But then uh, just checking whether the plan which we have in our mind or plan which we are going to implement, whether we can implement it or not. So we are actually measuring the plan, how it is, and we are studying it from all the sides. Maybe sometimes we are seeking the professional advice also from somebody, maybe from your friend or relative or a family person. So we are asking their opinion, and usually it is uh, taken into consideration their advice also, because we may go wrong at some or the other place. We may go wrong. Then comes the idea generation phase, where we are uh, actually whatever rough idea we are actually weighing that idea with the help of talking to various sources from where we can generate ideas. Like there are techniques which we studied, like brainstorming and reverse brainstorming. Then there is group discussion, where the particular idea which you have in your mind is presented in front of the members, and then we discuss it from all the sides, its viability, its impact, the forces which may affect the idea, and stuff like that. So we also studied various sources of generating the ideas. Then we saw how the external and internal environment affect the idea, that is environmental scanning. As I said, external environment, where there are factors like technological appraisal, whether manufacturing it or starting the venture, technologically it is viable or not. So that we study under technologically appraising the environment. Then there is economic appraisal, where uh, various conditions like inflation, per capita income, consumption pattern, consumer price index, balance of payment, such factors are taken into consideration, and then it is studied. So this belongs to the external environment part. Similarly, internal environment is there, which comprises of whatever raw material we are using, or the ways of productions we are going to implement, or kind of operations we are going to have, the financial requirement and the human resource requirement. And then we started with feasibility analysis, where we completed market analysis and technical or operational analysis. Now, feasibility analysis is actually done to find out whether the proposed project which we are going to start in the future, is it feasible to carry out or not. So we are actually, in a way, we are testing the viability of the product, of the project. So when we are testing, we have got lots of parameters on which we are going to test. So such parameters are market analysis. Now what we do in market analysis, we are actually testing whether the demand for the proposed product which we are going to launch in the market, we are trying to estimate the demand for such product in the future, as well as how much market share the proposed product will have, a product or service for that matter, will have in the future. Now, to judge this, to test this, we have got uh, other areas to be included in market analysis, that is calculating the present and future demand, then finding out who the actual consumers are, finding out how the distribution pattern of demand is, whether it's a seasonal product or the consumption would be across the, we can say consumption would be throughout the year. So how this demand distribution is seasonally or throughout the year. then whether the demand is geographically distributed. So such analysis we do in market analysis. Then we saw technical or operational analysis, where we study the feasibility of the project from technological point of view in terms of understanding the technological needs, the equipments which are required, the kind of technology which goes into the production, the raw material, uh, and stuff like that. We are also taking into consideration the material availability, the planning which is required for uh, the material which goes into the manufacturing, then what technology we are going to choose. So such also the plant location. So such things we studied yesterday in technical or the operational analysis. So we are now continuing with the feasibility analysis, where we have already completed two parts of feasibility analysis, that is market analysis and technological or operational analysis. Then comes the financial feasibility, the important part. Once the analysis of marketing and operations we have done successfully, then the final feasibility analysis is done. Now, why do we do this financial feasibility analysis? To check, to assess the financial issues of proposed business venture. Whatever issues related to the finance can arise is what we are going to assess in the financial feasibility. So this particular analysis, financial feasibility analysis, basically understands where at what all places we are going to do the expenses, we are going to incur the expenses, and how these expenses are utilized. So how we can generate money and where we are actually incurring money. तो पैसा कहाँ से आ रहा है और कहाँ पे खर्चा होने वाला है, ये analysis we do in financial feasibility. So where the money would be going, cost of land and building. So we would be checking how much cost of land or building would be. So if we have to purchase, how much it would be. If we have to take it on lease or uh, जैसे बोलेंगे maybe on rent. Now these would be period would be for let's say 5 year, 10 year. Maybe on rent it would be for lesser period of time. So all these things we do check in financial feasibility, that is under knowing the cost of land and building. Then comes cost of plant and machinery, which includes estimating the cost of plant and machineries and their running and maintenance cost. So how much would be the plant size? We have done it in operations. Plant layout we have already covered. But then what all machines we have to install to take care of the production, how they would be running, and how much maintenance cost we have to incur. So this initially we do calculate the cost which we are going to put into land and building and plant and machinery. Then working capital, estimating working capital for running the business. For day-to-day activities, we require cash in hand to pay out wages, to pay out salaries, to pay out the some amount of money to the suppliers or maybe to the distributors or purchasing raw material. For all these things, we require some kind of cash in hand, and that is called as working capital. So even that we need to calculate. How much is the cost of production, how much we are incurring on the raw material cost, labor cost, overhead, utilities, or like or infrastructural facilities like power, water, fuel. So all these costs we are taking into consideration, and this is how we are doing the financial feasibility check. Also, we are calculating how much expenses we have to incur in terms of sales. Sales pay, definitely we have to put in money. We have to pay salary to the sales force. Sales जो भी agents है या फिर executives है, their salary we have to pay, then we have to make the material available at all the places. We have to see to it that how much cost we are putting in terms of warehouse, how much sales we are expecting, and accordingly we are calculating the things. So this is what we can say roughly we do, or we calculate, or we carry out the feasibility analysis. Now, after this feasibility analysis, uh, let us complete the sixth step, that is evaluation and control, and then we'll jump to the fifth step because it actually requires again few of the important steps because we are preparing report here. All right. So evaluation, control, and review. So once your plan is prepared, once your project is prepared, once it becomes ready for the operations to take place, then we are again evaluating it. So we are again giving it a second thought in terms of where we can go wrong, where the problems can arise. Because after the fifth step, the picture is quite clear. Hmm? How? Now we actually know that how much money we have to put in from our pocket. If at all we are taking help of any financial assistance provided by state or the central government, how much money they are generating, when that money would be disbursed, meantime what we can do. So such things are clear after we prepare a thorough project report. So after the report is there in front of us, then we can go for evaluating it. And in this evaluation, we may come across few of the things which the earlier four steps, preliminary investigation से लेके feasibility analysis तक, the earlier four steps may somehow be forgot. So it may happen that we may come up with some new problem we can say, or new issue, so that we correct in the sixth step, and that is evaluation, control, and review. So let us now go to the fifth step. What it is? Fifth step is project report preparation. Now, what? Why this report is important? Because first and important foremost thing is you have to submit this written document when you are applying for loan. Bank officials, they don't have time. They will not listen to your business idea and whatever is there in your mind. They will not listen because they have to give you the money. So they need something in written which they can uh, read afterwards, they can understand, they can clarify, and if they are okay, then only your proposal would be accepted. So for all these things to happen, we require to prepare it, or we need to give it a proper shape, and that is what is project report all about. The project report should be exhaustive, covering all the details about the proposed project. So how this project report should be? So that is what is essentials of a project report. It should be exhaustive. Exhaustive as in, please consider all the points, all the details about the proposed project. Right? For you it might be the minute detail, but then all those things are really required to be included. So it should be exhaustive. It should not be very lengthy and subjective. Now, exhaustive does not mean that you make it lengthy. You maybe explain all the points in 1 or 5 pages, and then it will be a like 300 pages per report. Ensure that it's not lengthy and subjective, but then see to it that you explain all the points, or all the details which are related to our project. It should be logically and objectively explain the projections. Now, whatever projections you have may be related to the sales, may be related to the demand, may be related to the, we can say, the market share. So, whatever projections you have made in relation to the said points, you should explain, the project report should explain them logically and objectively. Take one point at a time, discuss it, then jump on to the next one. So logically and objectively, you have to explain the projections. The projection should be appropriately made from 2 to 10 years. Now this projection should not be for 1 or 2 years. So you are seeking help. Now, if the amount runs into lakhs of rupees, let's say 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs, or 50 lakhs, like that. Now, definitely you won't be able to cover it in within 1 year or 2 years time. So I need to assume here that the business would be for a longer period of time. We are not here for a short period of time. So projections should also be appropriately made from 2 to 10 years. So that should be our, uh, we can say, the number of years of operation, and targeting these number of years of operation projections we have to make. This report should be professionally made to demonstrate that the promoters possess entrepreneurial acumen and sound experience. See, there is a difference when we as in you and me, who are new into the business. When we do, our way of presenting the business idea would be different than the professional ones. Now, why it is different? Because the professional ones, they exactly know the details of it. Now, when I say objective, now probably I'll have to think, and I may come up with 1 or 2 objectives only. Whereas professionals exactly know what do we mean by objective. See, there are short-term objectives, there are medium-term, and there are long-term objectives. So this is how categorically I can come up with short-term objectives, let's say 2 to 3. Long-term maybe 1 or 2 only. Medium would be again 2 to 3, like that. So earlier, I tried to club all these objectives into two, where there was no clarity. इसमें से immediately what I wish to achieve, what is for future period of time. So that becomes my long-term objective. Maybe expansion or diversification becomes my long-term objective. Right now, I want to introduce myself to the business. I want to, maybe for first year, it's like no profit, no loss. Whatever money I'm putting in, I should, if I am able to recover that much, I'm more than happy. So that becomes my short-term objective. Getting it? Maybe medium term would be increasing the market share at least by 1 or 2% every year. So if I have to achieve this, I take into consideration the previous year's sales. Accordingly, I set the target for the current year that at least 1%, if we have to increase, meaning whatever efforts we are putting in now, maybe 10% more efforts if we put in, we can achieve this 1% increase in market share. So this is how the objectives are categorized as. And being a newcomer, we may not be knowing such things, how to put it on paper. So that is why we have to seek the professionals' help, because they have this sound experience and the knowledge, business knowledge or entrepreneurial acumen. So they may present it in a better way. You have to also justify your financial needs and projections. Whatever financial needs you have or projections you have, financial projections, you need to justify. Now, when I say that after 5 years, for example, when I say that after 2 or 3 years of time, I need to have one more financial assistance from government, because my expansion plan, I wish to begin immediately after 3 years of operation. Now the bank officials may ask us, since you have not even started, how can you say that I want to expand? But then you should have the proper justification for your financial needs. So that is something we can achieve via our project report. Again, you have to justify the prospects, market prospects and demand. You have to make it attractive to the financial agencies and investors. If you are generating money by way of IPO, initial public offering, or uh, because shares list होने के लिए at least it will take some time being a new enterprise. So if we are in this way, we are generating money through public, through investors, then the idea should be attractive enough. That is why the report needs to be attractive enough to attract the agencies who are putting in their money, as well as the investors who are believing you, and they are again putting in their hard earned money into your project. Then comes, should this project report should also have high aesthetic value. High aesthetic value as in, though it's a written document, but then like we do our project, uh, we follow a particular pattern, we follow a particular format for it. Similarly, the report should also have a format where the facts and figures are to be highlighted, maybe the uniform font throughout, using the appropriate font size throughout, like that. So this adds to the aesthetic value. So these are some of the steps which we have to include when we are preparing a project report. What these steps are: there is a cover sheet, table of contents, summary, then the actual business, whatever funding is required, the outcome, the product or service, how you are going to achieve the or how we are going to have the products or services. So it's so the plan, that is the marketing plan, operations plan, organizational plan, and the financial plan. Then the important risks, critical risks which you assume, the competitors or change in government policy, pandemic, such are the critical risks. Some risk we know, risk and uncertainty जिसको बोलते हैं. So some we can count, some we cannot. So how we are, what plans we have to tackle that critical risk. Exit strategy and appendix. Appendix may we are including, for example, maybe the layout you have. Or if you are a manufacturing, you wish to start your manufacturing unit, what would be the layout? If you wish to start a boutique, what would be the layout of it? If you wish to start a restaurant, what is the plan? So all such things we are including under appendix. Let us study these steps one by one. I hope these steps are clear. Now we are going to see them in detail. So what is this cover sheet? Cover sheet is like a cover page of the book. It mentions the name of the project, address of the headquarters, or name or address of the promoters. So basically you are giving details about yourself. If it's a partnership firm, you are mentioning the names of the partners, you are mentioning their addresses, maybe their occupation, and such things. So basically it's like cover page of the book gives the details about you and the partners. If partners are not there, it will give details about yourself, maybe the name which you have given for your venture, the proposed address of the headquarter or the production plant where the operations would take place. If you have any office, corporate office, then you disclose its address. So that is our cover page or cover sheet. Then comes table of content. Table of content, so it's like normal index which we have or contents which we have. So if I have to find, if the bank officials, if they need to find out, once the report is there in their hand, they wish to find out who all are promoters. किसने ये प्रोजेक्ट पे पैसा लगाया हुआ है. Suppose if they want to know this information, so they can simply go to the table of content. They can find out, is there any such heading where I can find such information. If yes, then they go to the designated page. If not, then they may find out something else, some of the other thing. So for that, we need to have the appropriate table of content. But point is, whatever method we are using for classification, for numbering, or let's say you say section, or some people may say chapter, then you have subsections or subchapters. So chapter 1 is introduction. In chapter 1, in introduction, you have the subsections. Let's say 1.1 will tell about you. 1.2 will tell about the corporate office. 1.3 will tell about the investors, or let's say the partners. So whatever fashion or whatever formats you are following, ensure that the entire report should adopt the same procedure throughout the report. So that is one thing we have to keep in mind. If you are only using numbers, or let's say ABC, then all of a sudden, please don't include Roman numbers or small letters, some or maybe bullets instead of numbering. So such mistakes we have to avoid. Formatting needs to be done correctly. So after cover sheet, table of content, then comes executive summary. Now this is the first impression about the proposal. So as we know that first impression is the last impression, so we need to present carefully the information, whatever things you have to disclose to the investors or evaluators or to the officials. Ensure that um, the information is provided in such a way that it attracts the attention. But then it should be in brief, should not be more than 2 to 3 pages, yet it should have all the factual details about the project that can improve its marketability. See, so this summary is like, suppose we narrate story of a particular web series or a movie. Now, movie is, or let's say series, web series, which has got 7 to 8, or let's say 10 episodes of half an hour. So, how much it is? Definitely, content is more than 3 hours, or let's say 2 hours, like that. But then when we have to narrate it, the job is done. This narration is done in, let's say, within 10 minutes or 5 minutes, like that. Similarly, this executive summary should also be, let's say, should not be more than 2 to 3 pages. It should have all the details regarding your project, but then project may be for 60 to 70, or let's say up to 100 pages. But then summary should only be within 2 to 3 pages itself. So there lies our skill. There lies the promoters or the entrepreneurs' skill to present it in such a manner that people will have a fair idea about what this project is all about. It should have all the factual details about the project, which can improve its marketability. It should briefly describe the company, mention some financial figures, some salient figures of the project. So, in this way, the job of, or the purpose of executive summary is to generate interest in the minds of the reader. If the narration is good, narration of a web series is good, definitely it arouses interest in our mind, in the minds of the listeners. Maybe we disclose the star cast, maybe the director, the story plot, like that. So the way we present, accordingly, we attract the attention. So this way we present, meaning the presentation, and that in project reports language, this presentation is nothing but the summary, executive summary. So we should present it in an attractive manner. Then comes the business. Now, यहाँ पे क्या होता है? This will give details about the business concept. It will discuss the objective, the brief history about the past performance if the company is an older one. Please 1 second. So this business, after the executive summary, the this next section, that is the business, gives the details about the concept related to our business. So concept related to our business may discuss the objectives of the business, what you want to achieve through this venture. Suppose I wish to carry out uh, the same example of yesterday. I wish to carry out the garment business of garment business, that is selling, let's say, kids garments via social media or through online. Now, if this is my business, what will be my objective? Objective would be to reach maximum number of customers who use the social media to the fullest. So I am targeting the social media users, and I am trying to reach maximum to these people. Now I am trying to reach maximum, meaning I'll try to incorporate using all the platforms. Maybe I'll have a Insta story after maybe the frequency could be set through WhatsApp also I can do. Maybe I'll have a LinkedIn page where I may use this LinkedIn page just to promote the business idea, just to promote it amongst the working ladies, because that is what my target is. And I believe that they are actively LinkedIn users, or they are active LinkedIn users, or actively using it. So this becomes my objective. And this I'll write in the business. I'll explain it in detail in business section of project report. If the company is, though you are starting, you are जैसे मैंने बोला कि it's an it's a brainchild of a person who is innovative. So innovation does not mean that you are doing something new. Innovation means you are finding out newer ways of carrying out things. So if it is the kirana shop which is run by my father, now I, with some let's say technical background, or knowing little bit of carrying out businesses in a by newer generation, I apply my few of the skills which I have, and I come up with an app, and I try to run my business through app. Now home delivery, or home delivery above 1,000. Maybe if you shop for 5,000, you will get additional 10% cashback. So I have all these things. I have a website also. So through website also people can contact me. I have an app also, and in this way I have some innovative ways of carrying out the same business which was being run by my father. So I can also have some brief history about the past performance of the company, how my father started this business or how he excelled. So I can include that also, and now how the form of ownership would be. So uh, let's say the signing authority remains with the father, but then all the major decisions related to the management of this particular grocery shop is now with me. So we can include such information in the history, brief history, and that is part of the business. And that is what this section tells us. It gives us the details about the concept of this kind of business. So you are explaining it in detail. Then comes funding requirement. After business comes funding requirement. Since the investors and financial institutions are the major bodies, or let's say the key uh, bodies who are examining the project report, because they are going to put in their money. That is why we are preparing report. अगर मुझे, for example, if I have to take money from my father for this business, now being father, he may not ask me. Reason being, he has been watching me how much efforts I'm putting in, or maybe another reason, जैसे हम probably which we see in movies, he has got ample of money. So even if The son takes 10, 15 or 20, 30, 50 lakhs of rupees. Maybe he doesn't mind and he just gives it up. Or the son knows that father has made some provisions which he is going to give me. So he is simply giving it to me. So when we are in this way generating the money, or let's say if I am taking my friend's help, I explain them everything. So they are not asking the written proof that the business, how it would be. So in that case, I may not require the project report. But basic and foremost reason of taking preparing project report is to seek financial assistance. Now, when I go to bank, when I tell them the next question, when they when I say that I want loan because I want to start my own business, जैसे ये सुनते हैं, next answer or next reply which comes from the bank side is, show me your business plan, show me your project report. We'll go through that, and if we find it is worth, then we'll get back to you. So that is what happens in case of funding requirement. Since these institutions are the key bodies, investors and financial institutions are key bodies examining the report, it is one of the primary objectives of preparing a project report, because we need to seek financial assistance. Therefore, a well-planned report or in-depth report needs to be documented. It is also necessary to project how these requirements would be fulfilled. So when I am opting for loan, I know that 6% or let's say 8% or 10% interest is what I have to pay, and the duration would be, let's say, some 15 years or 10 years, like that. So I also have to justify the officials that how am I going to pay the interest to the bank. अगर वो भी assurance मुझे मिलता है, then only I'll give away the money. जैसे कि for example, if I have to take home loan, if I'm a salaried person and if I show the proper documents, जैसे 6 months की salary या फिर 2 years का tax pay किया हुआ form, then bank is quite assured that being a salaried person, he get his monthly salaries. So it is easy for us to take some part, some share of that monthly salary in form of EMIs. Whereas if a person is self-employed, for him the documents are different, the processes are different. So bank needs that assurance. In case in case the business is not picking up, after 8 months also, if the business is not picking up, how are you going to survive? How are you going to pay me my um, EMI, or let's say the interest? So for that reason also, we need to project these things. Then comes product or services. So we are now in the sixth step, that is the product or services. I hope the first 5 steps are clear to us.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the sixth step is product or services. So the brief description of whatever products or services we intend to begin should be given in this subsection. Now this includes maybe the more information about the product, like its key features, the range of the product that would be provided to the consumers, what are the advantages of such products, and maybe what similar products or substitutes products are there right now in the market. So we are actually giving the details about our product or services. We may include information about the patent or copyright franchisee or the licensing agreement also in this section. Now, why we are disclosing? So that whosoever is going to invest his or her money They should know where, in which project I am actually investing my money. So if the project is, let's say, manufacturing cooking oil, such a simple project or simple product, but then cooking oil, there are other variants. So what do you mean by cooking oil? What is the basically the base of your cooking oil? Is it groundnut oil or a sunflower oil or other variants, or if it's an olive oil? So what you are going to actually include in the offering, what you are going to offer. So the products or services, then who all are currently into this business. So who all are your competitors? What similar products are there? What substitute products, if at all, are available in the market? So you are giving details about such things in product or service. Then comes the plan, the highlighting or the most important part of our project report, and that is the plan. Now, the functional plans for marketing, finance, human resources, operations are to be drawn here. So, we are dividing this plan into 4 sub plans: marketing plan, operations plan, finance, and human resources. So, marketing plan में क्या होता है? Marketing mix strategies are to be drawn based on the market research. See, if you ask me, it is basically completely visualizing your product in the market. Only thing is that product is there in the entrepreneur's mind. So he has all, or he should rather have all the necessary details. Even if I have to manufacture a product like normal ball pen. Now, how to manufacture, how to market, how much money is required. So, all such things are there in the entrepreneur's mind, and he is putting those things on paper. So, when we are preparing business plan, meaning actually virtually the product is ready in the minds of the entrepreneur. Only thing is now he has to actually begin with the production. That is why now why I am saying this, minute se leke minute things we have to include in business plan or in our project report. So coming back to the plan, we are now in the subsection of plan and or subsection, and that is called as marketing plan. So what we have to include in marketing plan? Marketing mix strategies are to be drawn. Marketing mix strategies जैसे कि information related to your product, place, price, promotion, and marketing mix includes how we are going to do advertisement, how we are going to do the manufacturing, how we are going to make the advertisement, the communication, the media. We are testing the effectiveness of media and all. So it includes in marketing strategies, and how we are doing it, how we are carrying out, or how we are formulating the strategies based on the research. So we have to conduct the research, and based on that, the strategies we are drawing or formulating. So what we achieve through this market research, we can understand the market demographics, like who all are my customers, who all are the end users, what their needs and preferences are, what they like or they dislike about such products, what my competitors' strengths and weaknesses are. If at all any competitor is there, how strong he is, where he is lagging behind. So we are actually carrying out the SWOT analysis of the market. We are studying the market in detail in marketing plan, and we are accordingly including the things here in marketing plan. So we are understanding the competitor strategies, we are understanding his strengths and weaknesses, we are carrying out the SWOT analysis of the market, and that is what we are doing it in marketing plan. Based on this information collected, The marketing mix strategies for our product, price, promotion, distribution are presented, and the budget also for all these activities are to be drawn at the end. So this marketing plan also includes budget for these marketing activities. See, understand there is difference. Cost of project is different. Now, budget or precisely the marketing budget is part of that cost of project. But then separately, we need to calculate this marketing budget. What all activities we are going to conduct, how much money we require for that. So separately, marketing department का या marketing plan का share कितना है, how much budget is there for all these activities, I need to calculate and present at the end of this marketing plan. Then comes operational plan. The operational plan usually gives the information about where is the plant location, why we have chosen this particular location, how much this location or what is the vicinity of the market, suppliers, labor, and other things. So how close these things are, how close the market from my location is, how close the suppliers are, how close the laborers are. So these things I include in my plant location. And that is part of my operational plan. Second part of operation plan is plant layout. Layout, the structure, the physical structure. Now this is also at times mentioned in the project report so that it can provide pattern of arrangement of the organization and would also indicate the exhaustive planning for the business. Very important step that we nowadays this layout of the plant is also mentioned, because then it gives more clarity in terms of the arrangement of the organization. If the plant is in let's say the remote areas, and if the marketing or the corporate office is into the city, the warehouse is somewhere in another corner of that particular state. So this layout or this operational plan actually tells me or the investors, if at all I'm maybe I'm not taking few things into consideration. जैसे warehouse and manufacturing should be closely located so that the finished goods can be stored easily in the warehouse. If it is at the remote place, then it will take some time for the goods to reach. So in between the transit, there may things go wrong at times. Some theft may happen, some deterioration may happen. So I have to carefully think about these things, about the location of the plant, warehouses of the, or let's say the warehouses, and where I sit, maybe the corporate office where the, the administrative staff who carries out their operations. So operational plan talks about these details. It can also take into consideration the manpower plan that would be required to put life into the company, and it would also list down the details about the different laws which are governed in managing the employees of the organization. So that is why this organizational plan is very much important, which includes the operational plan is very much important as it includes the plant location, the layout, whatever material we require, how we are going to source that material, how we are going to take care of inventory, how we are going to control the quality, and again the budget for it. So we have to identify maybe the further cost or maybe the business intricacies, and at the end, even this plan, operational plan, also requires the budget for all these activities. So if you see, major part of our venture, the major expenses of our venture are from this operation side, because there the actual operations are taking place. So even this part needs to have the proper allocation of budget. Again, that is part of the total cost of the project. But then separately, we need to calculate the cost of operational plan. Then comes organizational plan. Organizational plan indicate the pattern of flow of responsibilities and duties among the people in the organization. So basically, it provides details about the governing bodies, the board of directors, we can say. It also enlist the manpower planning that would be required to run the company. How these manpower are governed by various laws. अगर जैसे कि we have studied factories act or let's say maybe employees wages and gratuity and pension such acts. Now ये सब किनके लिए applicable होता है? There is labor law, there are factories act. If there are more than 12 workers in a factory, then what all arrangements are to be done? So organizational plan talks about such laws. Organizational plan talks about details about the board of directors, how the manpower is utilized, what is the flow of responsibilities, what pattern they are following, whether it's a decentralized organization or centralized one. So such details along with the budget is included in organizational plan. And then comes fourth plan is called as financial plan. It is usually drawn for a period of time, जैसे कि 2 to 5 years तक के लिए we draw financial plan. We do financial planning for the existing company. The summary of previous financial data is given, whereas for new organizations, अभी the company जैसे I gave the example of a person whose father is already into the grocery shop business. Now for such scene, when already the business is existing, then we should come up with financial planning for next 2 to 5 years, because we have the previous financial data available, and based on that we can draw the projections. But when it's an entirely new organization, then how will we come up with financial data? कुछ भी नहीं है. We are doing it for the first time. First generation entrepreneur है and who is carrying out these activities for the first time. Then the projections, the financial projections are made based on projected sales. सब estimate करना. Everything you have to imagine, you have to estimate, you have to calculate, and you have to project. Then projected income and expenditure statement, projected break-even, projected P&L statement, projected balance sheet, cash flow, fund flow ratios, everything is projected. सब हमको सोच के we have to include in financial planning, or we have to include in the plan, financial plan. किनके लिए? The one who does not have the previous figures available, as they are doing it for the first time. So they have to project, they have to estimate everything, and they have to come up with it. So financial planning में this is what financial plan में this is what we are including. Now out of this steps which are required in the project report, we have completed the first 5 steps. Funding the first 4 steps we have completed. So funding requirement and the next steps, again those are simple. We'll cover it in our next class. So we are stopping here for this session. Any doubt, let me know. We'll do it in the class, and meantime just start preparing for your sessions as for the syllabus or for the subjects as your exams are in. Now maybe how many 2 to 3 weeks are there, so you can start preparing for your exams as well. So we are stopping here. All the best, and stay safe at your places and carry out your work.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am.